and welcome to Wednesday Debate Live with Taghreed Hussein here on Nile TV International. Tonight we'll be taking you from the Nile to the heart of Africa, where Cairo is actually shaping the continent's whole future. So tonight's episode will be tackling the presidential activity, the presidential meeting, and also a continent in full motion, which is Africa, a nation that continues to stand today at the center of the most consequential conversations, as His Excellency President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi had welcomed President Felix Tshisekedi of the Democratic Republic of the Congo with full state honors, and we've seen how this scene is reflecting how Egypt honors the Congo, and it was more actually than a diplomatic protocol. The guard of honor, the national anthems, the expanded talks, the signed memoranda of understanding, the joint press conference, that all pointed to a larger reality actually, that is Egypt consolidating its position as one of Africa's foremost engines of stability, of development, of sustainability. The visit is reflecting the strength of this relationship between both African nations on the basis of trust, continuity, and also on the basis of shared interests. So from trade to investment to infrastructure and energy, tackling also the water resources, capacity building, and regional security, with a very rich agenda that is broad, that is ambitious, and definitely future-oriented. The most powerful message that we read and that emerged from Cairo today, beyond the bilateral ties, came once again Egypt demonstrating its approach towards Africa, towards a continent that is really rich and with great potential, with vision and with action. And tonight, with our dear guest, Dr. Mongy Badr, who is Minister Plenipotentiary and member of the UN Association, we're going to read those achievements of Egypt in Africa, reading the presidential visit by the President of the Republic of the Congo, how Egypt is a bridge connecting the whole regions, a voice that is advocating today dialogue, and a partner that is committed to translating those aspirations of the African nation in general into reality. Your Excellency, thank you so much, Dr. Mongy, for coming.
It's my honor to be with you tonight.
Thank you so much, and we together will be reading this important achievement and more, but allow me first to have a look at the main top stories of the day, with the Egyptian Red Crescent marking a significant humanitarian milestone, that with aid delivered to the Gaza Strip through Egypt that is surpassing 1 million tons. Expressing her pride and appreciation, First Lady Mrs. Intisar al-Sisi said that she was delighted to meet the sons of and daughters of Egypt among the dedicated volunteers of the Egyptian Red Crescent, and also to witness alongside them the historic moment when the volume of humanitarian assistance sent to Gaza had reached 1 million ton mark. The First Lady had praised the unwavering commitment of the volunteers and relief workers, extending heartfelt gratitude to every hand that offered support, and that every effort, sincere effort, that has been directed to serving humanity during one of the region's most challenging humanitarian crises. Once again, Egypt is reinforcing African leadership through peace, through development and strategic partnership and vision. Let's watch this report and we'll be back.
President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi's meeting on Wednesday with President Felix Tshisekedi of the Democratic Republic of the Congo was far more than a bilateral summit. It was a strategic statement about Egypt's growing role as a pillar of stability, development, and peace across Africa. The visit, which is President Tshisekedi's fourth to Egypt in recent years, underscored the exceptional momentum in relations between Cairo and Kinshasa. Following official reception ceremonies, bilateral and expanded talks culminated in the signing of several agreements and memoranda of understanding, reflecting a shared determination to elevate cooperation across trade, investment, water management, infrastructure, energy, and capacity building. President Sisi emphasized Egypt's readiness to support DR Congo's development ambitions through the expertise of Egyptian companies, particularly in infrastructure and energy projects. The President also highlighted ongoing cooperation in water resource management and reiterated Egypt's commitment to supporting dam and development projects that advance growth while respecting international law governing transboundary rivers. A major focus of the summit was peace and security in Africa. President Sisi reaffirmed Egypt's unwavering support for the sovereignty, unity, and territorial integrity of the Democratic Republic of the Congo and stressed Cairo's active backing of regional and international efforts aimed at restoring peace in eastern Congo, including the implementation of the Washington and Doha tracks. These initiatives seek to reduce tensions and advance long-term stability in one of Africa's most volatile regions. The discussions also highlighted Egypt's broader African peace agenda. Cairo reiterated its readiness to support confidence-building measures, post-conflict reconstructions, institutional development, humanitarian relief, and capacity-building programs through specialized Egyptian institutions and the African Union Center for Post-Conflict Reconstruction and Development hosted in Cairo. On Nile Basin cooperation, both leaders stressed adherence to international law, good faith negotiations, and the principle of mutual benefit. President Tshisekedi praised Egypt's balanced approach while supports development aspirations while safeguarding the rights and interests of all the riparian states. Egypt's African engagement extends beyond diplomacy. It combines mediation, development financing, technical assistance, infrastructure expertise, humanitarian support, and institution building. As regional crises continue to test the continent, Cairo is positioning itself as one of the principal architects of peace, stability, and sustainable development across Africa.
Welcome back, and we're discussing, of course, the importance of the talks that has reflected a shared political will between Egypt and the Congo to strengthen the strategic partnership between both countries. And we're really honored once again to welcome Dr. Mongy Badr, Minister Plenipotentiary and member of the UN Association. Dr. Mongy, the Congo is very important. The Republic of the Congo is very important to Egypt. Of course, Africa at large and Egypt has a very important partnership with different African countries. Today, in his speech and in his address at the press conference, His Excellency President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi was very much clear to say that there is a shared will to take relations with the Democratic Republic of the Congo to higher levels.
In fact, according to my information, that His Excellency Mr. President already instructed many times to concentrate on Africa, especially Congo. And if you follow the visit of President of Congo, Mr. Felix Tshisekedi, in fact, this is the visit number 4. In few months, he visited Egypt 4 times. So this it means that we already decided what we need to establish a very active relation with African countries. And in the meantime, we have enough tools to execute what we are planning. Number 2, Congo, it's very important. Not only because it's a huge country. Yes, it's a huge country. It's more than 2 million kilometers, and with a population of more than 160 or 170 million population. And in the meantime, we consider Congo the most rich African country in rare minerals. From this point, we can mention that we used to import copper from Congo every year by around $500 million. And this number one. Number two, we have a lot of investment there, especially, I don't want to mention the name of companies, but there is companies in mining sector, there is companies in infrastructure, and also there is many companies in logistics. In last few months, we already penetrate very important sector. It's IT sector in Congo. Moreover, also we give more attention for pharmaceutical sector. Now we are ready to export to African countries a lot of medicines, a lot of equipments related to hospitals, and Mr. President mentioned many times that we should use the soft power of Egypt in Africa.
Definitely, trade is also very much high on the agenda. The consultations dealt with more than one important file, with the ministerial exchanges, with the memoranda of understanding that has been signed earlier. So this means taking the volume of trade to higher levels.
Yeah, this it's very important, but we have little bit some restrictions or some obstacles to export Egyptian products to west of Africa. Number one, there is no enough shipping lines between Egyptian port and African port, especially in the west. This number one. Number two, a lot of competitors there, India, China, EU, and even America. Number three, unfortunately, Congo, it's a member in COMESA and a member in CEFTA, but unfortunately, they didn't apply the item of these two agreements. If we succeed to convince the president of Congo to apply the items of CEFTA, it will be great opportunity for Egypt, and I think we can double or triple the volume of our export to Congo. And we have the reason that our import from Congo more than our export, because of what we import a lot of copper from Angola.
This important visit is reflecting Egypt's approach vis-a-vis the developmental projects and the partnerships with Africa, especially with Congo. Egypt had a readiness to support DRC in more than one way. We're talking the developmental projects in the field of infrastructure and also regarding humanitarian aid.
Yes, I agree with you. The level of our cooperation with Congo, it's 2 or 3 levels. The first level, Egypt with Africa, and Egypt with Africa, we will go directly to initiative of NEPAD 2063, and the chairman or the president of this initiative, His Excellency Mr. Abdel Fattah al-Sisi. This number one. Number two, on the level of bilateral relation, we have a unique relation with Congo. As all of us can notice, that there is a desire from the two parties to develop the bilateral relation. Also, Egypt now is thinking to be more aggressive in business, and we would like to develop from only trade between Egypt and African countries to go to partnership or strategic partnership. This strategic partnership will move beyond the trade, go to joint venture, and also to have big project in infrastructure, and also to help even in education and the training cost. As you see, from these 3 memorandum of understanding which we signed today, you can see there is one in vocational training, another one in irrigation, and the third one in investment. And this, I think it's a big step to have a memorandum of understanding in investment. This, it will open the way in front of Egyptian private sector to go there and to invest there. But we don't want the private sector to be alone there. It should be supported by our embassy, by our related entities, and in the meantime, the support it should be to protect our people, and in the meantime to have some financial help or financial program to help our people who going to invest in Africa. This we are going to copy our competitors. Our competitors, China, India, Turkey, or even Brazil, they are doing the same with their investors whom investing in Africa, because all of us are aware that in some African countries infrastructure is very poor, and in the meantime security it's not okay. So we should protect ourselves. In this point I'm going to mention that we would like to send Egyptian youth to be there, because weather it's very bad, security it's not okay, infrastructure it's very poor. Who is going to have the ability to negotiate and to invest and to protect himself? I think it's the Egyptian youth.
The Egyptian youth definitely are doing great vis-a-vis also capacity building. We're always talking training and capacity building, as Your Excellency has mentioned, and the press conference had highlighted also a very important aspect regarding Egypt's diplomatic approach vis-a-vis the active engagement in conflict resolution in Africa, and that African problems should be solved by Africans themselves.
Yes, as you see, if we go to remember the history, Egypt-Africa history, we are the only country whom help most of African countries to be independent. This is number one. Number two, we used to mention educational mission to be there, and Egypt is paying their salaries from Egyptian budget. Number three, Al-Azhar and Egyptian church, it has very active role in Africa. Number four, most of countries now, they are moving to concentrate on IT sector. So, and our Egyptian youth, they are very clever in this area. So we can have or we can go to joint venture with high value added. I think you using to hear this word, invest in high value added. Okay, so we will go there to invest in high value added. Don't think that you will be alone there. A lot of competitors, and we should study the situation of our competitors. So we should prepare our tools to penetrate this market again, not only through trade, and the trade is very important, but also through joint venture in some areas. In fact, also I used to reference that Egypt it has it's a pioneer in some sectors, infrastructure, chemicals, solar energy, and also engineering sector, and of course white sector or white goods. We are very good in these areas, of course. So in this we can compete under one condition: if African countries apply the articles of CEFTA and the COMESA.
Yes, definitely trade is very much high on the list. Also the meeting has reflected the importance of Egypt's diplomacy when we're talking engagement with the different African leaders and African regions. We're talking also the sustainability of peace, and this is what we actually need: peace that lasts, peace that is sustainable, not meantime peace.
This is a very important point. As we mentioned that in some African countries infrastructure is very poor. Why? Because there is no it's not safe to go there. Number two, Africa is very rich in natural resources, but unfortunately we are very poor in GDP. Can you imagine the total GDP of African countries not more than 3.3 billion. And it's equal like Germany of one country in Europe. And in the meantime, we used to read and to hear that Africa, it's the most rich continent globally.
Yeah,
but
with very much high potential that is still not unleashed even.
No, but we didn't use it. And if we use it, the value added go to the foreign investors. So we should concentrate how to cool down conflict in Africa. Number two, we should create the culture of compromise between all the faction. Otherwise, because some faction consider it's 1-0 or 0-1. No, we should create another culture of win-win situation or compromise solution. Number three, if you follow the speech of His Excellency Mr. Sisi, he mentioned and he read the sentence about we should respect the sovereignty of each country.
Nations, yeah.
This number one. Number two, we should move from war to economic development. Number three, we should concentrate on education and health. And all this area, if we understand this message very clearly, I think the time will be to Africa in in the coming future. And also some international association mentioned that with 2050 the manpower will come from Africa by 40% on the international level. Can you imagine? 40% of manpower will come from Africa. And 2050, it's not very far, less than 25 years. We are going to reach this. So again, it's Egypt with very practical tools, and also it's a very reasonable vision. We understand very well that the future will be to Africa and Egypt, and in the meantime we need to a little bit more patient, and in the meantime we should be very wise to avoid any conflict, even bilateral conflict or regional conflict or international conflict. What we should concentrate, it's economic development. And in this point I'm going to add that if the history passing you never follow it, that we should use our natural resources from our teenage and youth to deal very well with the Egyptian skill in IT and AI. Believe me, if we continue to encourage our people and the small companies, especially startup companies, we are going to add more for our GDP. We are going to increase the employment rate. We are going to move from classic economy to productive and exported economy.
Yes, productive and exported economy and green economy as well. And on more than one level, actually, Egypt is working, and there has been earlier in the day a meeting between Egypt's top diplomat, Foreign Minister Dr. Badr Abdelati, and the Foreign Minister of Eritrea, Mr. Osman Saleh, and they discussed, of course, the outcomes of the visit by President Afwerki of Eritrea to Egypt. So we can see this sense of momentum, African momentum, Cairo's broader vision of building this sense of trust and the network of trusted African strategic partnerships happening, talking also the security of the Red Sea, more than one important milestone.
Would you think it's a bilateral discussion?
It is a regional one.
No, it's not bilateral at all. It's a multilateral discussion. Of course, we start with bilateral, and after that it's multilateral. Number one, of course, instructions, what we understand from the discussion between His Excellency Mr. President and his counterpart Mr. Asias Afwerki, President of Eritrea, that they would like to go in another level of bilateral relation between Egypt and Eritrea. This is number one. And I followed the press conference for our active Minister of Foreign Affairs, Dr. Badr and his counterpart, Mr. Osman, as a Foreign Minister of Eritrea, that I can presume that they discussed many things. Let me conclude what I understood from my follow-up.
This meeting,
Number one, we are going to encourage Egyptian companies to go there by facilitating a shipping line. We should encourage for transportation, because transportation between Egyptian port and Asmara and Assoc a little bit high. So if we have regular shipping line, it will be less cost, and if we have the cost of transportation, it's a little bit reasonable, our export will be very competitive in Eritrea market. This is number one. Number two, there is an agreement to encourage the Egyptian companies to go there, not only for trade, but also in infrastructure and the chemical sector. Number three, we discuss the security of Red Sea.
Yeah.
And
water security is becoming one of Africa's most pressing, challenging files, definitely.
And we agreed together that the security of Red Sea belonged to the countries bordering on Red Sea only. And it's a very positive point. Also, they mentioned that we didn't allow any country to close the passage of Bab el-Mandeb, because it's international corridor, and it's not nice to stop international
trade. The President has actually pinpointed mutual trust, good faith regarding this issue, and mutual benefit, and definitely sustainable management of the river.
It should be like that, because if you are going to make some troubles, it will affect not only international trade, but even the normal, your customer, your people, because the price will go up, inflation will go up, not only in Egypt but in many countries, and it's not accepted at all by Egypt. Maybe we accepted before during the conflict between Israel and the Gaza Strip, but now it doesn't accept it at all by Egypt. And our message since the start of war between America and Iran on 28th of last February, that it's a very clear message: we don't allow anybody to close Bab el-Mandeb. The third point, in fact, it was to develop the organization belonging to African Union. We need more association to be more active, because the traditional and the classic organization, its goals and its tools, it's already out of fashion. Now we are in a new era, and we should develop our tools to be matching with IT and AI.
Yes, we were of course sharing in the celebration of Africa Day 2026, and Egypt is working on more than one important dimension in order to achieve the Africa that we all aspire. What does it take, Dr. Mongy, to achieve the Africa that we aspire? In fact, the sky is the limit, of course, but what does it take?
We used to be very practical. So we have a forum in El Alamein al-Jadida at the end of this month.
Yes, I guess that this has been a smashing headline.
Yeah. We should be like that. You know, Doctora, enough talks. And we should be a little bit very practical, but what we need to maximize the use of our natural resources, and we should avoid conflict and war, and we should concentrate on the future. Let me conclude this, if you allow me, that Africa, it's not geographical expansion for Egypt, but it's a strategic depth for economic security and the future development, as I used to mention, Egypt's success in Africa over the next decade will depend on shifting from traditional diplomacy to a productive investment diplomacy, acting quickly before competitors consolidate their influence. Again, competitors. Adapting innovative, not traditional partnership models, and the opportunity is there now. But the window for action is rapidly closing. So we should accelerate our steps to penetrate African market and to establish strategic partnership with many economics like South Africa, Kenya, Nigeria, and even Congo. And as I mentioned to you, we should divide the African market to 3 levels: rich people, rich countries, so and so medium countries, and fragile market. And each policy should different. So in economic level, when we are dealing with Africa, it should be 3 policies with a stable market, good market, and fragile market. It should be like that if we would like to compete and to penetrate and to increase our Egyptian export to African continent.
Definitely working on more than one track, as His Excellency Dr. Mongy has emphasized how Egypt's African diplomacy is actually working comprehensively, providing a comprehensive model alongside with achieving the sense of strategic partnerships vis-a-vis trade, addressing security in Africa, addressing development, connectivity, institution building, and also conflict preservation. And this is what Egypt is actually working for, and the sky is always the limit to achieve the Africa that we aspire. I thank you so much, Dr. Mongy Ali Badr, Minister Plenipotentiary and member of the UN Association, for joining us on Wednesday debate.
It's a very honor usually to be with you, Dr. Tagreed.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And I thank you, dear viewers, for joining us. That was Wednesday Debate Live, and I'm Tagreed Hussein. Many thanks for watching.